I want to ask you something. Why do you think it's harder to find commitment today from men?
Way harder to find commitment. Maybe because of there's a lot of reasons. Technically, how the world is operating at the moment as well. A lot of people being more open towards open relationships and kind of understanding the hookup scene and all that, because it's so massively available. Not a lot of people pay attention to settling and stuff. Then you have what we spoke about, which is why players, why the men cheat, for example. So like in a writing and
I I think timing is very important.
the timing is important too. So we spoke about age as well, right?
Yeah. And like, what life stage are they at?
Exactly.
Because if he's looking to settle down and start a family, start a legacy, then yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to take someone seriously.
But it's really weird because there's a lot of men who I got approached twice today on the street as I was on the way to you. And
Sorry about it.
Doesn't mean that I engaged. So I just see what type of men approach me, right?
Okay.
So that's really different because one of them, probably because of the way I dressed, would say, oh, she's probably like a TikToker or something like that. He was a young guy, he was probably 17 or wherever, he just came up and was like, can I have your Snapchat on TikTok, right? That's one thing. But then
I just thought you were attractive.
Perhaps. And then you have a guy who's in his 30s, let's say, is dressed very smart casual, came up to me, said he's French, he wanted to ask for my number and stuff, said that I looked so and so, and
did you give it to him?
She gave it to him, guys. She gave it to him.
No, I actually hesitated. Because it needs to be that.
So what made you give it? I'm guessing you didn't give your details to the first one.
Obviously.
So what made you give it to the second one?
You see that difference in age and in class and just
Okay.
It's just
And how, for our female viewers, how did he approach you? Where were you and how did he do it?
I was just walking outside. I was actually looking for hairdressers. He's the good hairdressers around here. Anyway, so I'm looking for hairdressers. I'm running around and everything, and it just happened to be walking down the street. I mean, I'm talking about it second one.
Yeah.
And he just approached me. He just said I wanted to say something and gave me a compliment, and then just started talking about himself and stuff, and asked me for contact details or wherever. So this is how that happened. The other one, and I was just kind of sitting on the bench, just doing something on my phone.
Yeah.
So there's that difference.
Yeah.
How is he?
Well, I guess the guy who's older, it makes more sense because on first impression, he seems at least more put together, more established. He's wearing something that I assume you found quite classy, like kind of nice. So he's also probably got a good style. If he has the confidence to come up to you in person, which is so rare nowadays, that says something already. But if he's older, then yeah, he's more likely to look for something more serious.
Yeah.
If that's what you want.
No.
You don't something like that.
Sorry, French guy. Sorry, Frenchie. She's out. She doesn't want it.
I'm actually out. Just because I gave you my number doesn't mean I'm gonna talk to you.
Well, why would you give him your number then?
Out of interest. I just want to see.
Would you be?
So it wasn't the number, it was technically the Instagram. So sometimes I'll give somebody my Instagram details. I'll just
So
see what they do.
Boost that follow count.
Let's see.
Okay, would there have been anything you saw on his profile that would make you go, oh, actually, maybe I should give him a chance? Lies. You're lying. Really? If you're sure he had like maybe he was like a very established, like awarded, like director of a company or something. That wouldn't make him more attractive to you.
So what?
Maybe we can give you a
Look,
chance.
it is okay. No, look, because you're gonna say that. Why? Maybe it is attractive.
Maybe it isn't.
Because we were talking
me.
about ambition. We were talking about ambition.
He's already got it together.
Yeah, he's already got it together and everything. Okay, and he's not bad looking, and he might be nice in the way he approached me and everything. they read the energies, as I said, the way you carry yourself and everything. So just because he was dressed nice and just because he approached me in a certain way and just because he managed to get my Instagram account doesn't mean that I vibe with the guy.
That's true, but I guess you've just met him. Like you have to go on a date to see if you can vibe with him.
You know, every interaction is a transaction. Okay, so I interact with somebody, I can feel the energy and everything. That's enough. And then if I go on the profile and then see wherever I need to see.
What did you see on his profile?
Just a bit stuff, pictures.
Yeah, like what? It's got a wife and kids.
No, but
You're like, oh, that makes me want him even more.
no, that's straight up no. No, my friend kind of was having a laugh with me yesterday. He said that I was asking him, should I go with a guy who's already got a kid? And he said, go with a guy who's already got a wife and kid. You've got the full package. See what I mean? I was kind of like, alright, let's do it. You know?
I love that.
No, but
I love that. That's
yeah.
funny.
So the guy was just a no. That's it. Like, what else do you need me to?
But why?
Because I just don't vibe with that. I'm not exactly 100% attracted.
Do you have a type?
I've got a few types.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like?
I like Mediterraneans.
Okay.
I
Why? Like cultural? Got amazing food.
They've got.
No?
I mean,
I think they do.
I mean, okay, Italians, yeah, but I'm not into Italians. I'm talking Mediterranean. Why do I say Mediterraneans? Okay, so I usually go for kind of like Moroccans, Algerians, that type of guys.
Sure.
Then you've got Jamaicans,
Mm.
like Arabs, but it really depends. Sorry.
Okay, so maybe he just wasn't your type. Just wasn't your type.
Yeah.
So you said you're not really open to dating right now.
I am and I'm not. Okay, because we've run a business and kind of networking, being all over and like working 24/7, you know, it's kind of just a headache and I don't have time. I went on an app not long ago, okay.
How was it?
Immediately, just hundreds of people just liking the profile, trying to chat, and then kind of like, because I'm so overwhelmed, and it's not just me, because people in the comments will be like, oh, she thinks she's all that. No, a lot of girls get a lot of guys to chat to them.
Of course. A lot of
Also,
attractive
just
girls
be-
get hundreds if not
Exactly.
thousands of matches. Yeah,
And
it makes sense.
there is girls out there who are so beautiful, they get even more than I do, okay? 100%. So just to, yeah, because a lot of people had an issue with that, actually, recently. But anyway, let's go back to the point. So immediately, obviously, loads of messages, right?
That must felt nice though. Be like, oh wow, so many people are interested in me.
And after that, because I kind of got out of a relationship a year ago, you know, so that was kind of refreshing. And
Yeah,
it was
of
kind
course.
of like, I can do that. So yeah, so I've got loads of attention and everything, but then, yeah, I think it depends on, like, first of all, the app, second of all, the age gap, third of all, like, different type of things, and like the type of pictures that you post and the type of pictures that other people post. You can kind of tell what type of people you're going to talk to. And a lot of these guys were actually, a lot of the guys that liked my profile were actually inmates. Which is crazy.
That's
And I could not believe this. And I was kind of like, okay, well,
Would you ever date a criminal?
no.
Never.
No. We were talking about like the street knowledge and everything. Not
Yo,
on
that
that
street
level.
knowledge through the roof. Through the roof.
Not on that level. Okay, let's not get into criminal records. Okay. But yeah, so me thinking, okay, well, I'm banging that, which is like my past experiences and men who are very toxic in the masculinity and stuff. Okay, and like very successful, you know, got the shit together and everything.
So let's talk about the toxic masculinity. What? Because you just associated like some very successful guys, but they have toxic masculinity. So what kind would then? What are you talking about in regards to that? Now, what do they have?
Like the example with the cafe, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, things like that.
It's like taking respect to the extreme.
Hell yeah, still taking respect to the extreme, and but that doesn't mean that men who are less successful do not give off toxic masculinity.
I hear that.
Okay. because it doesn't matter what. Like a man, when he goes into that's at least I am kind of quoting Steve Harvey. Love the guy, absolutely love Steve Harvey. So he said like the man when he goes into the world, he's judged by other men, and what he's judged by is who he is, how much he makes, and what does he do. You know, things like that. But
And the woman he's with.
and the woman he's with, for
Very true.
example. But that will depend on what he does and who he is and how much makes as well.
Yeah, it's true.
So my point, then you don't have to be extremely successful. You could just be a guy. Let's say you're working at Tesco's and you're looking for marriage. So you go on an app where you're looking for a woman to marry, okay? But then I know that works usually, yeah, exactly. But then, yeah, so you're looking for that, and that type of guy, let's say, he would look for somebody who's, let's say he's toxic in his masculinity. He's looking for a woman who's just going to be very agreeable, somebody who's going to stay at home, listen to him. You know, you can be intelligent and stuff, but not too intelligent, because then you're going to argue or want to kind of, and I actually dealt with somebody like that. So, I mean, and then, yeah, so that...
I think there are women like that out there, though. I think it's very, I think that's a very specific kind of woman. And I think they're a very, very small minority, just because, so I went to boarding school, and I went to like one of the poshest schools in the country, right? And I grew up in a rough area, so I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb, but I was surrounded by a lot of very wealthy kids from wealthy families. And a lot of their parents, that was the system they had. Like, the man was incredibly successful, incredibly wealthy. She didn't work a day in her life, and she was very much the stay-at-home wife and agreeable. And not that they weren't intelligent, they were intelligent, but like, they very much, in maybe the most drastic case, very much submitted to him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I think it's kind of like, you know how you kind of said about how, being with a masculine man encourages that feminine to come out of you. I feel like the more a man has maybe acquired and the more successful he's become, right, I can provide something that not many men can, the more likely a woman is going to do that for him and be that for him. Because those same, like, wives that I'm talking about, right, they wouldn't be that for just the average guy. Does that make sense? So, each to their own, whatever they want. Do you know what I mean? You go, okay, that's what you want. That's not for me. But it's kind of like, I think for a small percentage of women, maybe a larger percent, for the right guy, they would do that for.
Yeah, there are women like that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know women like that, and they love their roles, and they love to be that for the man.
Yeah.
100%. But there are women who are kind of combined, as I said. They can be very feminine, but then they can have very masculine brains. And they definitely need a man who's similar combination, because otherwise it just clash.
I agree. I agree.
And that's why it's so difficult to find out. But we were onto something.
Go
on. Jack can't roll, so you have to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I cut you off. Well, you're talking about, I asked you about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And about associated with these very successful men.
Yeah, true. So their toxic masculinity doesn't mean that only successful men, obviously, as I explained earlier. It can be toxic, but their toxic masculinity kind of, I think it comes from the place of ego as well, because there were usually men who kind of love like the 60s. Right? They want to be that man. I don't know if you've watched Mad Men.
Oh yeah. Where
Don Draper.
Yeah, Don Draper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I had.
But how many women would love to be with Don Draper? A lot of women would. Well, there you go.
Yes.
But would you not say by today's standards he's a toxic, successful man?
He is a toxic, successful man.
But you want to be with him?
But wait, because how can you make a toxic, successful man 100% committed?
I think it's incredibly difficult. especially today. Here's the thing, like, there's something called the weakness of strength, right? And that the kind of guy that, let's say, who's incredibly successful, has his own business, whatever, he's likely also plans everything, but likes to be in control. And he might not be as flexible as maybe some women would like. But that's what comes with the territory when you deal with that kind of man. Does that make sense? Equally, because you could deal with a man who's super flexible, but you'd be like, doesn't have his shit together. Do you know what I mean? So I think don't get me wrong, there are some toxic traits and toxic, people do toxic behaviors. But I think we have to understand that, is this a toxic behavior, or is this just something that comes with the territory that doesn't work for me? Like, am I willing to accept this? Because it's kind of like you said, like, if we want to be an incredibly successful man.
That was exactly my issue. I either have to accept it or let it go.
Okay. Because now you've had more experience in maybe men on the spectrum, would you say that's adjusted your standards for what you're looking for? Or are you still kind of like, nah, I'm going to find the guy who's got the perfect balance of exactly everything I want?
See, the perfect balance would be perfect. But yeah, where is the balance? Either guys who can't take, who can't lead, or the leaders who are toxic. Where is the balance, But I think, the man is, okay, so he comes from a toxic trait, but he is on the level, so he's after exactly what I'm after. See what I mean? Like, he just works, like the ambition works, and the knowledge works, and the values, and kind of spiritually as well, all of that. So if that works, but then he comes with that toxicity, let's say, am I able to accept that?
How?